This film is about the Southend United Football Club and the people behind its scenes. We present the team we call United. On May the 19th, 1906, at the Blue Boar Prittlewall, a meeting was held by an amateur club, Prittlewall United, to consider the prospects for the coming season. They decided to form a professional club, Southend United. A lease was obtained at Roots Hall and the club entered the Southern League Division 2, being champions of it in 1907 and 1908. United played up till 1915 at Roots Hall, but after the war they moved to the Kersal. In 1920, the Football League formed the 3rd Division South. Southend became founder members. Their best season was 3rd in 1931 to 32. In 1933 to 34, the club left the Kersal for the stadium at Granger Road. David Jack, the famous Arsenal and England forward and son of Robert, United's first manager in 1906, became the new manager. The stadium held a crowd of 24,000, but as can be seen, the terraces were not built up behind the goals, which made it difficult for supporters to have a good view of play. During the post-war period at the stadium, United's highest position was 3rd in 1949 to 50. The manager at this time was popular Harry Warren, who was with Southend from the end of the war until after the move to Roots Hall in 1955. Many players are also remembered by veteran supporters, such as internationals Reg Davies and John McAlinden. Another, goalkeeper Harry Threadgold, who can now be seen in his seafront public house The Ship, is one of Southend's longest-serving players. He joined United from Sunderland in July 1953 and continued to play regularly until May 1963. It was in August 1955 that Southend began their present era at Roots Hall. The club had long dreamed of possessing its own ground, and when in 1950 the site became available for purchase, negotiations soon began. The financial support of the Supporters Club was the important factor in the purchase of the ground for the parent club. Our present manager, Ernie Shepherd, who spent several seasons as trainer, then assistant manager, took over the managerial post in April 1967, being preceded by Harry Warren, Frank Broom, Eddie Perry, Ted Fenton and Alvin Williams. Here now are some of the staff at the beginning of the Ernie Shepherd era. Ray White was a product of the youth team and joined United straight from school in 1963. He could not gain a regular place because of the consistency of Trevor Roberts, and left Southend for Bristol Rovers at the end of the 1967-68 season. Trevor Roberts was born in Carnarvon, North Wales, and won several Welsh amateur caps. He joined Liverpool and played in their reserve side for 2 years before coming to Southend in January 1966. He holds a university degree in geography. Ian Riley, a young defender with Southend from November 1967 till his move at the end of the 1968-69 season. Tony Bentley was born in Trent Vale and joined Southend from Stoke City as a right winger in 1961. He later reverted to half-back, but now usually fills a more defensive full-back role. Peterborough in January 1966 after previously playing for Sheffield Wednesday. He left Southend for Chester in October 1969. An Irish international, Sammy played for Manchester United and Wrexham before joining Southend in September 1967. Equally good in defence or attack. Joe Ashworth was introduced into league football by Ernie Shepherd while he was trainer-coach at Bradford. He joined Southend from Bournemouth during the 1967 close season and left us for Rochdale after the end of the 1967-68 season. Bobby Howlett was signed from Chelsea and is now with Colchester United. Eddie May was born in Epping, Essex and played as an amateur with Dagenham before joining United in January 1965. He had a lengthy stay at Roots Hall but is now the popular captain at Wrexham. Mel Slack, born Bishop Auckland, he joined United from Sunderland in August 1965. An attacking wing half, he left us in part exchange for Keith Lindsay of Cambridge United in January 1969. Jimmy Stevenson, born in Belshire, Scotland. He signed for Southend in 1967 close season. He is now with Brentwood Town, playing against us in the FA Cup in the 1968-69 season. Mike Beasley joined West Ham straight from school and signed for Southend in August 1963. He went to Peterborough in '64 but returned to us in August 1967. Peter Hunt joined United in July 1967 direct from school and has really proved himself in the 1969-70 season and has caught the eye of many top clubs. Jackie Ferguson, a very good ball player who never really hit it off at Southend. He was signed from Airdrie and returned to South Scotland and Ayr United at the end of the 1967-68 season. Howard Moore joined Southend in January 1968 from Gillingham. He has now left for Port Vale. John Baber, a Londoner who played with Charlton before joining United as an amateur and then turning professional in September 1966. Eddie Clayton joined us from Spurs in March 1968. In 10 years' service with Spurs, he made over 100 appearances in the first team. He played in several positions for Spurs, as he has with Southend. His main role is now in midfield, and also the scorer of many fine goals. Billy Bess signed from Northampton in January 1968. Bill has played in every division of the Football League. He was top goal scorer in 1968-69 with 31 goals. Unfortunately, Bill got a bad injury at Lincoln early this season and was badly missed by the side. Andy Smiley played as a professional with West Ham, Crystal Palace and Scunthorpe before coming to Southend in 1964-65. Before signing for Gillingham in late 1968, he was club captain. Phil Chisnell was signed in the 1967 close season after experience with Liverpool, Manchester United and the England under-23 team. John McKinnon came to Southend on a free transfer from Wraith Rovers in 1960 and was a regular on the wing before breaking a leg in the 1968-69 season. He returned to the side in the away match against Wrexham in October 1969. John is a real favourite at Roots Hall, a clever left winger who has a powerful shot. He then is the footballing staff for the 1967-68 season, who did a fine job, but who unfortunately were to just miss promotion. We shall now take a look at some of the final games in this tension-filled finish to the season. On April the 13th, United had a 1-1 draw at home to Chesterfield. After 39 of the 46 games, United were third in the table behind Luton and Crewe, with Chesterfield sixth. It was a serious loss of a point, but United still looked well there. However, with away games at Doncaster and Bradford City, the latter also being promotion rivals, every point was important. As each of these games were lost 2-1, as well as a home game 0-1 with Notts County, our promotion prospects looked very poor. By April the 26th versus Crewe, United had fallen slightly behind the leaders and 2 points were vital. They fought really hard, but no goals were scored, though they ran and chased the whole 90 minutes. This meant United had only gained 2 points in the last 7 games and had really lost their chance of going up. A great loss in our promotion race was the hair fracture at the base of Andy Smiley's toe. It kept him out of the side since Christmas, though he was recalled against Notts County and Crewe. He is seen here talking to other players in the car park. On May the 4th we went to Notts County. We lost 4-3, but there was a feast of goals for a great enjoyment. We were 3-0 down, but after some great crosses by Johnny Baber, Johnny McKinven pulled 1 goal back. Then Sammy McMillan scored to make it 3-2, and this was the score at half-time. In the second half, each side scored 1 goal each to make the final score 4-3. This was Notts County's last game of the season, and the fans were quite jubilant as they ran onto the pitch. Southend's last home game was on May the 10th versus Rochdale, which they won 3-1. Chisnell scored 2 goals, bringing his tally to 17 and level with Johnny McKinven. The other goal was scored by Billy Best, bringing his tally for the season to 14. Billy Best is seen here being presented with the Youth Section's Player of the Year trophy by club chairman Stan Skinner. Here we see Ernie at the end of his first full season as manager. His team had finished 6th, missing promotion by 5 points. Ernie must no doubt be reflecting on how some of those points were just lost. Let us now walk back with Ernie to the day when he was assistant manager. At Crewe in October 1966, old favourites were playing like Eddie Fermani, playing in the unaccustomed centre-half spot, Derek Woodley, Colin Flatt and Malcolm Slater. On the trainers' bench were manager Alvin Williams and trainer Peter Goulden. United in fact lost this match 2-1. For Barrow on April the 22nd, Ernie Shepherd was caretaker manager after the departure of Alvin Williams for Wrexham. Despite a great effort by United, they lost 1-0, which did not help their promotion hopes, eventually finishing 6th. Player of the Year for 1967 was Trevor Roberts, seen here being presented with a trophy by Mr. Skinner. And now here is Mr. Woodcock, Chairman of the Supporters Club and Director of the Football Club, to tell you something about the Supporters Club activities.
This is the outside of our London Road office, the headquarters of Southend United Supporters Club. From these offices we run all our pool raising funds, such as our football pool, daily draw, bingo. Here we have a photograph of our chief clerk, Gordon Sculper, who incidentally left us in 1968, and the chief clerk now is Ted Wheeler. Here he is dealing with a football pool query. This is where you get your money when you win. Everything derives from this office. Football pools, badges, team photographs, players' photographs, trips to away matches, all stem from this office. Here we have the sale of our daily draw tickets, and will you note how it's simple and easy it is to follow the results. You don't need a result sheet to see whether you've won. All the winners are contained inside the ticket. And here is our worthy photographer doing another stint for Southend United, in that he is an agent with our football pools, going round to his neighbourhood, selling these tickets to his neighbours. This is all a worthy cause in the name of Southend United. It's these means that have brought the revenue into this club that has made us able to purchase Roots Hall. Here we are back at 57 London Road again, and you'll note that all the winners are exhibited in the window at our office in London Road. Not many supporters realise that the Supporters Club are the owners of two social clubs, one at Roots Hall and the other at Windermere Road, just off the South Church Road. The difference being, of course, that the Windermere one is for male members only. This club has 4 full-size billiard tables, ping pong, darts and everything that goes with a social club. This club is the headquarters of the Supporters Club, inasmuch that it holds all its committee meetings here. In this club room, many momentous decisions have been made in the past. And here we have the committee in session, and as I said before, in this room, many a momentous decision has been made. As a matter of fact, this is the self-same room that it was decided to go ahead and purchase Roots Hall as a home for the Blues. In this photograph you can see in the forefront here Mike Bailey, who on this occasion was the chairman of the Supporters Club, the youth section, and is now a member of the Supporters Club management in his own right. In this photograph you can see the committee in session with Frank Gill, the secretary, Charlie Orchard, the vice chairman, Bill Williams with the programmes, and our old friend Jimmy Hummerston there, still with his pipe, still interested in Southend United. Here we have again the social club downstairs, and the temporary steward is now giving the committee a drink. This is the programme shop at Roots Hall, which is run by the youth section of the club. Here we have the interior of the home of Steve Millington, who is the chairman of the youth section, And incidentally, here are over 20,000 programmes, and the first one is dating right back to the year 1908. This is where the link between the youth section and the programme shop all begins. Here we have a copy of the Football Outlook, another item of the youth section in connection with the Supporters Club. This is our official handbook. This comes out each year, and each year it is a different copy and a better one. The price of this handbook is £1. Here we have the Young Blues playing in red. They play at Eastwoodbury Lane in the Sunday League, and as you can see, they are not blessed with a ground like the United, but nevertheless they endeavour to play good, constructive and clean football. Incidentally, with the Seaview Road Club last year, they both gained promotion in their respective leagues. And here they go with Peter Valentine, who we all know as Bonzo, after a very good game.
Now retake up the story of the film while looking at two other good and particularly interesting games at Morden Town in the 1967 closed season. The United team beat a Morden side managed by ex-Blue Kevin Barron 5-1. Playing in the other game was an ex-United team in red, including Peter Gordon, our trainer at the time, who joined us from Hartlepool, and in fact played for Norwich City in the opening game of the present era at Root Hall in 1955. We also had playing Ernie Shepherd, still a capable player who had a really useful playing career in the game. He in fact spent 10 of his 20 playing years on the left wing at Fulham, making over 500 first team appearances. His other clubs included West Bromwich Albion, Hull City and QPR. United also won this game 5-1. These two matches were held to raise money for a new social club at Morden Town. And here we see popular right winger in his day, Joe Sibley, whose pinpointed centres were joy to his supporters. And here is a close-up of Joe. Here in the team photo for the match we see old favourites like Frank Dudley, Joe Sibley, Peter Gordon, Ernie Shepherd, Kevin Barron himself and Jack French. The 1967 closed season, as in fact in most summers, United tried their hand at cricket. And here they are seen playing at Belfairs. Here they are watched by Mr. Rubin and Mr. Shepherd. Brown Burks puts a slow one down to the left. And there goes one by Peter Gordon, I think going to the boundary. Brown Burks got quite a few runs that day. Now it's the manager's turn, and now Frank Walton, the vice chairman of the club, bowled out and not looking too happy about it. Let's hope he doesn't have a go at the cameraman. Now it's Southend bowling, Eddie May, and his Shepherd, a good wicket keeper, throws it to Mike Beasley in the slips. Trevor Roberts bowling now. There's still plenty to do at Roots Hall though, and here we see Ernie arriving and settling down to a typical day as club manager. However, it was not to be such a typical day, as United were about to pay out a record fee for a player, Phil Chisnell. Here we have Ernie making the last minute arrangements to show Phil around Roots Hall. Here we see Ernie and Phil going on the pitch and discussing no doubt how Southend's grounds and amenities for both players and supporters are far superior to those of most lower division clubs. Born in Stretford, Manchester, Phil joined Manchester United straight from school after winning several England schoolboy caps. He made his league debut in 1961 and his England under-23 debut in 1963 against Wales. In 1964 he went to Liverpool for £30,000, whom he left in 1967 for Southend. And here he is seen actually signing on. And here he is being welcomed by directors Mr. Henry Smith and Mr. Frank Walton, and Ernie Shepherd again. At the closed season open day, supporters are given a chance to meet the players and officials of the club, and here Tony Bentley performs the duty of pouring drinks for some of the 500 visitors who turned up at the ground on a July Sunday in 1967. He gave the supporters an opportunity to hear about some of the ways the club was trying to make money outside match day itself, such as the market, held in the Roots Hall car park each Tuesday and Thursday. Here, Peter Gordon and Dennis Neville are seen purchasing some of the wares. It was a particularly important open day as the board were appealing to members of the public wishing to purchase any of the new £48,000 share issue. Prospective shareholders are being told about the future construction of the new director's box in the enlarged Rainbow stand and the complete modernisation of the boardroom, offices, main entrance and vice president room. Discussion also took place about the great modernisation of the Shrimpers Club, initially opened in September 1965. Then it had been licensed for match days only, and it only had some 380 members. Now, in July 1967, a full-time licence had been obtained, and under the chairmanship of Mr. Rubins, dancing and music were introduced. Membership rose to just under 2,000 for the coming season, rising to nearly 3,000 in 1968. Inside the Shrimpers Club, a typical weekend dance is in progress. The New Year's Eve party is always an occasion in the club, with everybody really having a grand time. Here we see Tony Bentley dancing with his wife. And Mike Beasley always getting in on the act, dancing with his wife. Another annual occasion at Roots Hall is the Carnival firework display. The commentator on the proceedings is Mr. Frank Gill, the Supporters Club Secretary, whose voice is heard over the tannoy at all Southend's home games. Fireworks are often produced too at Southend training sessions. The team do a lot of work here in Priory Park. Here we see a little practice game in progress. Peter Gordon here, deciding who to put the ball to. Here we see Frank Matthews in possession, doing a long punt downfield. Here we see Peter Hunt showing his ability, running through and scoring. After a hard morning's training, many Southend players enjoy a round of golf. Here at Thorpe Hall, one of the best among them, Mike Beasley, is seen teeing off. His opponent today, Ernie Shepherd, will have to do well to win, as Mike has won several trophies in the game. Here we see Andy Smiley thoughtfully teeing off. Here we see Phil and his party. Now Eddie May tries to hit it, but he never seems to get round to it somehow. Trevor Roberts does though. But where's he hit it? Oh no. Andy Smiley sinks the putt and proudly holds up the ball. Mick Beasley replaces the flag. To Roots Hall and football now, and the preparation for the start of the 1967-68 season. the 13th since returning there in 1955. Looking back on those 12 seasons, there had been some great memories. The great fight against the eventual Cup winners Manchester City in 1956, when only City's keeper Troughton gave the First Division side a 1-0 win. The defeat of Liverpool 2-1 in the third round in 1957, and great favourites in action like Sam McGrory, Roy Hollis, Kevin Barron, Bill Punton and Sandy Anderson. Now though we go back to the present and awaiting the start of the new season with United's players hard in training. After a casual trot, they break into a hard run. Here we see them going past the pack end. Mel Slack in his Sunderland shirt comes running through now. He's overtaking the field, he's rounding the bend, and he's flying up the open end. He's won, with Johnny Baber coming in a hard second. Preparation of the pitch is also a hard job, and Dave Robinson is seen hard at work. Dave has been employed by Southend United since he signed from Leeds as a fullback in 1928. He played regularly for Southend until 1933 when a serious injury put him out of the game for a while. A broken leg in 39 finally ended Dave's playing days, but has since been trainer and now groundsman. Giving Dave some help is now the new full-time groundsman. Here then is the full team staff for the start of the 1967-68 season. In the middle, Mr. Rubin and Mr. Walton sit in either side of Mr. Ernie Shepherd, the manager. It is the morning before a match, and Roots Hall is still and awaiting. Preparation is already well underway though. On the match day itself, the secretary's job is always one of the busiest, and here Mr. Holmes, who joined us from Barnsley Football Club, is seen at his desk, and perhaps you can hear Susan hard at work in the office. With the tickets, gate money, programme and everything else, Keith rarely seems to leave the ground, and it is no exaggeration when I say that I have often seen him in there at well near midnight. As afternoon begins, the whole Southend United scene emerges into action. Match day means extra work for everybody. The police on duty, the car park attendants, the turnstile operators, the programme and jackpot ticket sellers, the programme shop staff and the hot dog girls. Look out for them as Roots Hall prepares for a match. Tickets for the stand are sold in the main office. The easiest way though, as these two supporters are showing, is to have a season ticket. Still well before kick-off, early arrivals are taking up their favourite positions on the bank, so they will really have a good view of the play. A popular feature of Southend home games is the supporters club band, who are now seen playing on the pitch. The chairman of the band is Mr. Wilby, who, like all members of the band, take great care of their instruments. Mr. Wilby will now tell you something more about the band.
The Southend United Football Supporters Club Band was formed in 1950 and comprised at that time ex-bandsmen from the British Legion, Home Guard and the St John's Ambulance Brigade. During the early years they made rapid progress in band contests from the bottom of the third section to the top of the second section, but have been unable so far to break into the championship section. In addition to playing at home matches, the band play at various borough functions, and here they are seen playing at the Cliffs Band stage at one of their spring contests. The band always play a large part in the carnival and give many charity performances. The present director of music is Mr. Cyril Manning, a very dedicated conductor. You saw him earlier conducting during rehearsal at Wesley Hall, and here he is seen at the Cliffs Band stage. An outstanding occasion in the band's history was after the band had accompanied Southend to Everton for a cup tie. The Everton officials were so impressed with their performance of both the team and band that they forwarded a cheque for 20 guineas.
As the band leave the pitch, the first home match of the 1967-68 season is about to begin, a friendly with Clyde. Here we see the latecomers arriving. This was many supporters' first chance to see new signings Joe Ashworth, Phil Chisnell and Jackie Ferguson in action. In the previous season, Clyde had finished third in the Scottish League and had reached the semi-finals of their cup. It was no great surprise then when United were beaten 3-1. United's first home league game of the season against Wrexham saw the return of old United staff like Alvin Williams and John Hill, seen here on the trainer's bench, Steve Ingle, Tony Beanland, Terry Bradbury and Ray Smith. Sarah McMillan was playing for Wrexham. 11,500 fans saw United win 3-1. By October the 14th against Exeter, United were handily placed fourth, a point behind the leaders. 9,400 fans saw Beasley score the only goal of the game, in which Derek Woodley made his return to United after a short spell at Charlton. was Mick's goal. A month later, United was still in fourth place, and now 2 points behind the leaders, for the game versus Lincoln. Phil Chisnell scored 2 first-half goals, and looked to be coasting to victory, but after a late goal by Lincoln, United fought hard to keep both points. By Christmas, United was still 3 points behind the leaders. In a local derby with Brentford, 9,000 fans saw Phil Chisnell score the only goal of the game in the 71st minute. It maintained Southend's unbeaten home record, but was a rather disappointing game, with United rarely showing why they were promotion challengers. On February the 10th, we had the Southern television cameras at Roots Hall. On that day, we played York City, placed 22nd in the league. Southend, now third and needing a victory to go top, had a most disappointing afternoon when they lost 1-0. The game saw Billy Best and Howard Moore making their home league debuts. This saw United losing their unbeaten home record. And after this game, we shall leave Roots Hall for the time being and take a look at what had been happening away from home. Our best year away for many years. While the supporters are on their way home, pressmen are phoning their respective newspapers and the evening editions are being printed. After watching the game from their seats in the director's box, some of the 100 plus vice presidents enjoy a drink in their own room above the Shrimpers Club. So now we leave Roots Hall, still and in reflection. Roots Hall is usually the meeting place for the players and supporters preparing to travel to an away match. They can leave their cars at the ground and then make their way together by coach or train. Here we see Jackie Ferguson going in. Kinman, Billy Best, Trevor Roberts, and Eddie May. Here we see Peter Gordon checking that all the gear is on board and all set for the long trip. Meanwhile, back in the car park, members of the supporters club are waiting for their coach to arrive and having a game of football at the same time. These trips are organised for supporters club members at a very low cost, and a really enjoyable day out can be had. Souvenirs can be purchased on board. So now let us travel with the supporters on their long journey. Here we are seen going on to the M1. Here we are seen going into the services for a quick snack. This often gives the chance for supporters to meet other supporters from other clubs also travelling. They can exchange badges and programmes and have a good chat about the games they're going to watch. Here we see them all on board again and ready for the off. Another great feature of the travelling is to have a good sing-song, especially when you've won, but the Southend fans at the moment are getting ready for a good sing-song at the ground, and there's nothing like a practice. Meanwhile, those travelling by train are leaving from their stations in London, from Paddington to Exeter, Newport and Swansea, from St Pancras to Halifax, Nottingham and Chesterfield, from Euston to Crewe, Chester and Rochdale. On this occasion, the Southend party are on their way to Port Vale for the opening match of the season. Here Mr Shepherd and Mr Mitchell are having a chat. Sitting with them are Mr Peter Gordon and Mr Skinner. Johnny McKinven writing a love letter to his wife, and Tony Bentley enjoying the view while Samuel McMillan has a game of cards. A thoughtful Phil Chisnell is scheming his next lay. And Johnny McKinven here too, working out his next move. Here Eddie Clayton and Mike Beasley are enjoying a joke. Meanwhile, the vice presidents are travelling by air. They often arrange air trips to several away matches, and they have been to Southport and Mansfield Town for the FA Cup tie. When Danny Shepherd and his party arrive at Port Vale, they are greeted by their ardent supporters. It was a great start to the season when goals by Phil and Johnny Mack gave United a 2-1 victory. United were 1-0 down at the break, but after 3 minutes United were awarded a penalty. Johnny Mack shot it over the top, but the referee ordered it to be retaken. John made no mistake, and we were level. On the hour, Phil hit the winner. And that was John's goal. For the away supporter, it is a whole day out following his team, but for the supporter at home waiting for the result, it is that moment when Southend's score is given that might delight him.
Bournemouth 1, Southend United 6. Bristol Rovers 0, Swansea Town 2. Division 4, Doncaster Rovers 2, Darlington 1. And Southend United 7, Worthington 0. Those were the football results of the Division 1, 2, 3 and 4.
On September the 2nd, United travelled to Barnsley. At that time, our present secretary, Keith Holmes, held the same post at Barnsley. Going back near his birthplace for this game was fellow Yorkshireman Ernie Shepherd. United gained a point from a 1-1 draw, Johnny Baber scoring the goal. In a moment, you will see the movement leading to the goal. A through ball from Phil Chisnell to Beasley gave Mick a chance to cross to Johnny Baber, who slammed it in the roof of the net. Southend playing so well, many supporters made the long trip to Hartlepool on September the 16th. In fact, a quarter of the stand was taken up by young Southend supporters. Johnny Baber scored an early goal and United held the lead until half-time. In the second half they held on to that lead to be the only side to win at Hartlepool that season. Chesterfield on October the 7th, United lost 3-1, only their second defeat of the season, their other being by the same score at Luton, the eventual champions. Darlington, Joe Jake's previous club, on October the 21st, a heavy, rain-sodden pitch gave Southend extra trouble, but they played very well despite being a goal down midway through the first half. Justice was finally done in the last seconds of the game when a free kick was awarded to United just outside the penalty area. McKinben's shot hit the post and rebounded to the on-running Beasley, who put it in for the equaliser. and Southend supporters were there again behind the goal to cheer another great Southend effort. For the furthest away match of the season at Workington on November the 4th, the Southend party spent the night before the game at a hotel in Carlisle, and they are seen here boarding the coach to Workington on the Saturday morning. Meanwhile, the supporters, who had been travelling all through the night, were just arriving in Cumberland. Everyone was rewarded with a 2-2 draw. United were 2-1 up at the break, with Johnny McKinnon scoring both goals. Unfortunately though, United could not keep both points. At Halifax on November the 18th, McKinnon and Chisnall scored both goals to give United in red a 2-1 victory. Here we see Joe Ashworth performing the captain's role of tossing the coin. This was a particularly good victory as Bentley, Burks and Smiley were all unable to play through big injuries, and many changes had to be made. Johnny Mack was the star of the game, also making Bill's goal. This match took United to the top of the table. For our next away game, we take up the story of the league season a week after we left it off, on the last home game versus York on February the 10th. After that shock defeat, a good result here at Rochdale will be of great importance to confidence, as well as the points themselves. This must have been in the forefront of the players' minds as they are travelling by coach to Rochdale through Manchester. Rochdale playing their typical hard football, United kept to craft, and with Johnny Baber back from injury, playing splendidly up front with Billy Best, United never looked like losing after Johnny Mack had scored the only goal of the game in the first half. As can be seen, a snowstorm had just knocked down Rochdale's main stand. By March the 2nd, United were still amongst the leaders, and 2 goals by Bill Best gave them a real chance of promotion with 2 more points from a 2-0 win. Ray White played in this match. This first goal by Johnny McKinnon from an original shot by Ferguson was disallowed, but United kept up the pressure, with Bill's goals being scored near the end. players, as they are walking into the station at Exeter, are interested in the other results printed in the evening paper to see perhaps how their old teammates have got on that day, and working out where they themselves stand in the league table. As they board, Howard Southwood gives us a wave and Peter Gordon a smile. Inside, Frank Matthews and the team settle down for an evening meal. After a good victory at Exeter, the players are soon back in training for the next match, which is always the most important one. On Monday, before the training session with Peter Gordon, players are already out on the pitch toughening up. By Friday, Ernie is picking his party for Aldershot. Another familiar sight of Route Hall during the week are Sid Broomfield and Joe Auger at work. It can truly be said that Sid practically built the ground as it is today. At Aldershot on March the 23rd, United was second in the league and looking set for promotion confidently romped home 3-1. Johnny Mack scored from a penalty. The other goals were by Chisnell and Eddie Clayton, playing only his second game for United. This left 10 games to play, but unfortunately only 6 points were gained and not enough to clinch promotion. And that was Johnny's superbly taken penalty. Here's a team photo at the end of the 67-68 season, which saw United finishing in 6th place. Among our new players for the 68-9 season were Dave Stone from Bristol Rovers, who has since left us for a minor league club, and John Carilla from Northampton Town, who along with Billy Best had first division experience with the Cobblers. Here, Carilla and Best are seen together in their new Southend Blazers at the away match at Peterborough. Also there, Andy Smiley, who was signing autographs for nearly the last time as a United player before going to Gillingham. programmes serve as a reminder of some of the memorable games of that season: Shrewsbury, Wolves, Bournemouth and Swindon. Ted Wheeler, seen here going into the Supporters Club office at London Road, is now at the news shop situated opposite the ground in Victoria Avenue. Numerous souvenirs of United can be purchased there, and all supporters will be welcome to have a look in at them. Southend's match programme is now one of the best in the Football League, and a lot of work has gone into its production. Regular supporters have seen several changes in recent years, but the present £1 a programme copy is easily the best, and more like a magazine and full of value. Here it is pictured with the 1955 opening game of Roots Hall against Norwich City. A special programme committee has been formed to produce it, and includes the club chairman, Mr. Rubin, his son Mark and secretary Keith Holmes. As an extra service to supporters, the programme can be purchased from newsagents in the town on and just before match day. The Shrimpers Club Loan Club has grown considerably nowadays and can be paid in on Mondays and Fridays. Before a match at Roots Hall, Ernie usually has a look at the pitch to decide on the best tactics and team for the conditions. The rainbow seats are prepared for the crowd to come. Now it is afternoon, and the rainbow stand is filling up with supporters eagerly awaiting the match. Meanwhile, the players prepare for the match in the dressing room. And Ernie takes a few moments to go over a few tactics and instructions. Meanwhile, their opponents today are taking the field, and this is their view of Roots Hall as they come out of the tunnel. At last it is nearly kick-off time, and the players file out of their dressing room to begin action. For some, injury has prevented the game, but keen as ever they sit and watch from the trainer's bench. Here is a team photo of the 68-69 staff that appeared in a national soccer magazine taken by Ian McLennan. It was a highly successful season for Gary Moore and Billy Best, who each received 3 match balls for scoring 3 hat-tricks each. Against Grimsby Town, Gary was playing against his old club, and he must have been very disappointed that United lost 1-0. Jeff Hudson was trainer at this time, and here he is seen attending to an injured player. Since then, Jeff held the position of manager for 3 months, and can be seen here checking the players' boots. Boots play an important part in the work of Herbie Roberts, who takes great pains to keep them in proper condition. During the 1968-69 season, United's navy shirts received criticism from the Football League because of their similarity to the strip worn by the referee, and towards the end of the season, a poll was held to decide which colours would be worn this season. Among the possible new colours were those of Chelsea, and West Bromwich Albion, the latter in fact being decided upon. This is the Top-Edge broadcast box at Roots Hall, from where a commentary is relayed to local hospitals. Player of the Year for 68-9 was John Carilla, who is being presented with a trophy from Mr Rubin and 2 of United's best supporters, David Noble of Brabin and Mick Thomas. Here inside the Top-Edge box, the commentators are busy describing the scene. After narrating this commentary, I appreciate their difficulties. Matches are also relayed back to the Shrimpers Club by the same organisation on away grounds. This gives supporters who are unable to travel to an away game the opportunity to know what is happening. Here the players are on the coach to the next away game. As is seen, no expense is spared in the interest of comfort for the players. Even a television is provided. Here we see new club captain Frank Haydock, who joined us at the end of the season from Portsmouth after service with Manchester United and Charlton. Here is Owen Simpson, signed from Colchester United. Here at County Ground Northampton, as in several away games, United did not live up to expectations and were further hit by the flu epidemic and injuries. Press are an important part in the club's makeup. There was Peter Butler of the News Review, Al Smirt of the Standard and Victoria, and Nigel Fuller of the Evening Echo. This is their view from the press box of the pack end, and of the south bank. And here we see the players coming from the tunnel to pose in for a team photo for the press. Jeff Hudson, during his spell as manager, is seen here again in training with the players. Players are practicing shooting, while Gary Moore stands waiting for the loose ball. This paid dividends in the home match versus Wrexham, before which game, of course, Ernie Shepherd had taken over again as manager. New signing as goalkeeper from Stockport County is Brian Lloyd, who has played for the Welsh under-23 side. Other recent signings are Joe Jakes from Darlington and Bill Garner from Bedford Town. Another non-league player who has succeeded at Roots is Dave Chambers from Cambridge United. And here is Dave. As the players go off for a shower, the pitch too is given a watering. At work hard in the office on match day are Norman, and Susan. The phone is always ringing and they are really kept busy. Meanwhile, the youth team, under the careful scrutiny of Laurie Leslie, are leaving for an away match. The lads have won several trophies. Now we should have a last look at some of the people who help to keep things running smoothly on match days, starting with Dave Robinson. The people who sell the programme. Mr. Blunt, the shareholder. Ron Dawson with bingo and the loan club, his top priorities. Alan Butchell and Derek Burns, two recent members to the management committee of the supporters club. Me, Steve Millington, at the programme shop, where programmes and souvenirs can be purchased on match days, as well as at the new shop in Victoria Avenue on any day. Alan Bushell preparing a notice about the next away game. Coach bookings are taken at the Supporters Club window on the ground and at the shop during the week. But for those travelling by car, an RAC map is printed in the programme. The Jackpot Girls, organised by Jimmy Hummerston. Smith, formerly a vice president and now a new director with Leslie Lesser. Dennis Newbury, who with his father play a large part in stewarding the stand and putting up half-time scores. Frank Gill, Supporters Club secretary and announcer at Roots Hall. Charlie Orchard, vice chairman of the Supporters Club. Ted Wheeler, chief clerk at the Victoria Avenue shop. And lastly, Johnny Woodcock, chairman of the Supporters Club and football club director. And the ground, which the directors, players and supporters all hope will be seeing higher division football in the near future. To the left, the badge of the Supporters Club, and to the right, the badge of the football club. Together they form the team we call United.